welcome back to another episode of The American Entrepreneur, where we interview entrepreneurs all over the world. As long as they do business in the United States, we want to hear their story. Maybe they went through something in their life that they learned something from, and they can share with you so you can be successful and apply to your own business. The guest we have today, his name is Wil Becker. He's from West Virginia. I'd like to please welcome Wil Becker. Thanks a lot for being a part of this, man.
Thanks, Mike, for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of your Facebook Live. You're really into it, so
thanks.
I had to reach out to you, and so just go ahead, man. What business are you in? How did you get started, and something that you learned along the way?
I'm in a network marketing business called Carrot Bars, and it's gold by the gram. The concept is smaller transactable amounts of gold.
Okay.
And I got into it because 20 years ago, as a 19-year-old or so, well, it wasn't 19, it was like 20, 21, something there. I was introduced to Amway, and I fell in love with the lifestyle right away. I understood what was possible. In that case, I just wasn't passionate about the products. The products are great. I have nothing against the products, but for me, it just didn't resonate with me. And so I went off. I went on a mission for my church, where I learned the importance of being able to control and run my own schedule. I was responsible for my day-to-day, whatever I did day-to-day. And then after that, college and work. Well, I had continually looked back at the network marketing industry to see what was there, to see what things were changing, what was developing, and
people are making tons of money in it. Tons of money.
People are.
Yeah.
It's Richard Branson says that the pay model is the wave of the future. Eric Worre also says that you'll see companies that will say, okay, we're going to give you 20 grand to do this work, but if you add value, you do some extra stuff, then you can make additional money. And they're seeing that in some businesses or some industries now, where they're changing to more of a salary and commission-based model.
Which I believe wholeheartedly in. You need to have some type of incentive. Rewards and incentives.
Absolutely.
Big part of it.
Absolutely. So I went to college, got a degree in IT, which I love technology. And 16, 17 months ago, a couple buddies of mine went to go buy silver bullion at a place here locally to where we live. And they're going to spend $500,000 a piece. And at the time, I just didn't have that money to go buy some silver. So I started actively looking for something to do. And that's when I got introduced to Carrot Bars. Now,
can you say that again? Carrot Parts?
Carrot Bars.
Carrot
K-A-R-A-T-B-A-R-S.
Gotcha.
And it's a gram of gold is their basic unit that they sell. Well, I jumped right in when I saw it because it adds value. You always have more at the end of the month as long as you're buying, each month. And so whether a person becomes wealthy through it, they're still building their personal wealth. They're still going to have something of value to show for it afterwards. And that just really resonated with me. My entrepreneurial journey started at the age of 12, though. That's
okay.
where the real story starts for me.
Yeah, I'd like to hear how did you, because some people know right away, some people realize the corporate world's not for them, and some people kind of just fall into it through luck.
Well, I didn't realize what I was until this last year, as I've started to relearn about the network marketing industry. When I was 12, I got a job as a paperboy, which is pretty common for most American kids to do. The reason I got a job is because my dad was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, and I have 5 siblings. So
wow.
I knew that my parents couldn't buy me some of the things that I wanted. I mean, they provided. I mean, we always had food, we had clothes, but sometimes, I wanted that nicer pair of Nikes, or, I wanted brand name jeans. So not like huge things. It wasn't like I was looking at, trying to replace the family car or something, just something a little more than what I had. And I was never ungrateful. I was always thankful, but I just wanted more. And from the age of 12, I worked. just different jobs here and there, worked for different places. And it was going through college where I started again to work for myself. I started doing computer repair for other students, for people in the community that I was going to school in, and just always having a side hustle, something going on the side versus what I was doing every day. And this last year has kind of reopened that part of me again. And I've realized I've always been an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what it was. I love work. I love to work. One of the guys I've worked for in the past was, you just give Will a target and just point him in that direction. If you need to give him guidelines, and then he'll hit it. You know, I've always been able to go and do work. No matter what kind of work it is, I've always been able to do it. And I've always been willing to do it. Even things that may not be popular, or with some of my other coworkers, or that they think is kind of beneath them, I've always been willing to do that to work. So really,
what I've noticed, Will, is that some people they're people who are really driven, they love to work, they realize that they're building somebody else's dream and not theirs whatsoever. So at a certain time in their life, they're like, wait a second, I've done all this hard work, and what do I have to show for it? I'm still in debt. I still don't have the dream house. I still don't have the dream car. What am I doing all this for? And then that's when they make the change, and they say, okay, I'm going to build the right vehicle so I could go where I want to go.
Exactly. That's part of what happened this last year for me. Is I'm in a good job. I have great coworkers. I have a good place to work. But I realized that if I wanted more financially, if I wanted more for my family, that I would have to do something else. Because I got to a point in my career where unless I'm willing to spend the time building enough trust to move over to management, I'm kind of boxed in. And I can do that, but that's a slow road. And I just saw myself, okay, it's time that I need to do something. I need to change. I need to make something happen for me and for my family. And so that's when I started to look around, and kind of like, I stopped looking for a traditional job, and I started looking for things I can do on the side. One of the other things I do is I run an eBay store. I also run web hosting for people.
Nice.
So I've been doing a bunch of things.
You're doing all kinds of different oddball entrepreneurial stuff then, just to keep everything afloat and keep you on the right path. Is that it?
Well, most of it is just some of it's just self-expression. I do the web hosting and the website stuff for people because small businesses who don't have the tech savvy or can afford to hire somebody need a place to go. So in my community, I work with people who are a small business but need a website. And they want to branch out from Facebook. They want to, okay, how do I do better in social media? So I've been coaching them on that and helping them build their customer base through social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And it's funny because one of my clients is like, well, why should I put this content on my website? And I'm like, because you need content in depth. You need a history, of the customers that are saying, we love this. You need a history of photos of the guns you're repairing in this case. The one place is the gun store.
Transparency of your business.
Yeah. And then it builds that history over time. And the more that you have a history of what you do, it's easier for people to find you in your community that are looking for that service or are looking for, like in this case, for this one guy who I've been working with a lot this last couple months, his gun store. He wants his gun store, when you search for it, to be the first gun store that shows up. Well, okay, you can do that. You can either pay for that or you can put out the content. And, you've got to put out something every day, consistently, or depending on how fast you want you to move up in your search rankings, you got to put stuff out multiple times a day.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but I've also realized this week that one of the things I love to do is promote things, is to encourage other people to go after their dreams. And you're like, you're probably thinking like, well, Will, but you've been doing these videos for like 4 months now. But I didn't realize that part of that drive to do that was to help other people, to build them up, and to get them excited about their life and the options that they have. Excuse me, the options that they have to change it, to pursue whatever dream they have,
For sure.
and to gain an understanding of themselves. Because really, as you probably know, when we understand ourselves, we then understand our motivators, our dreams, our passions, what gets us excited, and that allows us then to change our life and help others change their lives because of what they can see from working with us or from hearing us. Hold on a minute.
You got the little one, huh? Yeah, so I think for anybody watching out there, I always think that anybody who goes after what they really want, it's contagious to other people. So, sorry, I knew you had to take care of the guy. But Will, I know exactly what you're saying. I was just telling the camera, anybody who really goes after what they really want and they know themselves and they keep questioning themselves. And every day that you question yourself, you find answers that you didn't know were there. And I think that the more clear that you are on what you know what you want, people start seeing that. And they say, what's he doing that I'm not doing? And it's almost like a contagious effect where people start being attracted to people who are clear-cut, driven towards a goal.
Yeah, I've always been a reader, and not just novels, but biographies, history, and I got into business books this last year as part of this entrepreneurial growth I've gone through. Robert Kiyosaki blew my mind.
Love Kiyosaki.
Multiple streams of income, you know, having more than one stream of income, and I was like, what am I doing?
The average millionaire is 7, right? That's what they say. The average millionaire has 7.
That's what they say. And Robert Kiyosaki has 27 businesses that provide him income. So I started studying him. I started studying. I found Grant Cardone this year.
Cardone's awesome. Love Cardone.
Yeah. So I've read 3 or 4 of his books now.
Did you read his newest one?
Be Obsessed or Be Average?
No, I think it's yeah, that is. Yeah, Be Obsessed or Be Average, right.
I've read that one, and I got to tell you, in the first 15 minutes of Be Obsessed or Be Average, I had to rewrite all my goals because I realized my goals weren't big enough. That and they're not just goals for me. They're goals for helping other military brats. Because one of the things I want to do is do scholarships for them, is help other Army brats, other Navy brats, other Air Force brats, Coast Guard, Marine brats, go to college or to go into whatever kind of career they want. And I started I had to go back, scratch out the goals, rewrite them, and change, because I had goals for me and for other things I want to do. But I realized in reading that in the first 15 minutes of that book, they weren't big enough.
Wow. I got to read that. I have not put that on the list yet, but I will.
Well, let me tell you. I read Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone, and then I read Be Obsessed or Be Average, and it was like, okay, my goal, and so I had to change everything, which was great, though, because it made me realize that not only can I do more for me, but more importantly, having the bigger goals, I can do more for other people. And that's something that I've become more aware of this year. I met a homeless guy last summer, and we've been talking off and on. And seeing the stuff that he's been going through, and then trying to help him where I can, and then finding out that some other friends of mine know him, and they've been helping him. We just did a GoFundMe for him in November to get him into a place to live for a year. And
wow.
So we promoted that for a while, trying to get that funded. And it just made me more aware of what I can do in my own community. And so I started talking to the guys, which they haven't finished their charity. They're still doing the paperwork on it. But They're gonna set their charity up, or 501c3, whatever, however that's actually called. But they're looking to do things in our community, and I'm looking forward to getting involved with them and working with them to make improvements here, because, you know, we can do big things anywhere, but I believe that we should always start in our community and work where we can improve things here. And this interaction over the last 8 months with Robert has been life-changing for me.
With Robert?
Yeah, his first name is Robert.
Okay.
And he's a homeless guy in our community who we just got him into a place to live right after Thanksgiving.
Oh man, right before the cold and.
Well, yeah,
cold. It was probably already cold, but.
It was cold, but it's gotten worse. Let me tell you, 22 degrees today. That's no weather for somebody to be living outside in.
No way.
So, yeah, it's been a big year for my personal growth, my understanding of myself, and I tie that back to already being a person who has tried to be self-aware and try to know myself. I think that's really key in personal growth, is understanding who you are. And I've always been a believer in that and a pursuer of that. And in this last year, in adding all the books I've read, adding all the videos, the articles, all the different content that's being put out for free by a lot of the entrepreneurial leaders, Gary Vaynerchuk, Grant Cardone, Todd Falcone, Eric Worre, Darren Hardy, I can see his name, and I just Ray Higdon. Okay, so I've been taking in this stuff almost on a daily basis, because most of them produce a lot of content. So podcasts, YouTube feed, just learning, feeding my brain.
I always think that no matter what, even if you make a lot of mistakes, you're still learning a lot about yourself. And I think you have to ask yourself a lot of hard questions that a lot of people don't. They don't really find out who they really are, their strengths, their weaknesses, what they're going to go all in on. And entrepreneurs put themselves out there for everybody either to watch for failure or success, you know, and that's hard for people to do.
I think, I don't know who should get credit for this quote, but it's something that my mom and dad taught me, is to be okay with yourself. And the quote is, I know what I bring to the table, and I'm not afraid to eat alone. And that concept of being alone, being by yourself, and being comfortable with who you are, not having to have the TV on, the news on, or other things to kind of fill in, but to be able to sit in solitude and be at peace with yourself. And I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, they find that along the way, because you can't be authentic with other people. You can't help other people to your maximum ability if you don't know who you are. And I think when we figure that out, the world changes for us.
Well, I do speaking gigs through a circuit called Motivation Unleashed Seminar. And what we do is, what I've learned just by doing it, when you're up on stage, let's just put it, you're up on stage. If you're not comfortable for being up there, then how is the people in the audience going to be comfortable? So let's put that in perspective of in life. If you're not in living the life comfortable being who you really are, how is anybody you're supposed to interact with be comfortable? And that's part of it. And you wearing your company on your sleeve and showing people deep down inside what you really are trying to go after.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I think anybody can get behind. And the more comfortable you are with yourself, the better off for results.
And that's true, because that authenticity comes through, and in watching your videos and the interviews you've done, you know who you are, and you're talking to other people. And the other videos I've seen that you've done, those being interviewed, they know who they are. They know what their strengths are. They know what their weaknesses are, and then they bring people in to help. All entrepreneurs bring people in to compensate for their weaknesses and to help round out what they're not good at. And that's just another clue to those who know who they are and know themselves.
Richard Branson, you touched on him a little bit ago, and what he does, he was dyslexic. So what he learned to do was learn how to delegate. He wasn't great at certain things, so he found the right people to surround himself with. And that's entrepreneur can't do everything. They got to know a little bit about everything, but they can't be the best at every part of the business.
Yeah, and the other thing with that is you've got to learn as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, what to let go of and what to release. Patrick Bet-David, who's another great motivational guy.
Love Patrick Bet-David. Yeah, he's good.
I was watching one of his videos, and he's like, "Why are you still ironing your shirts? Are you worth $10 an hour?" And I started thinking about that, and I thought, what is that really? What's the real value in that, And he's like, you got to learn to delegate and give up things that you do so that your business can grow, that you can focus on the things that you're exceptional at and that you need to spend your time on. There's not a problem with you like to iron your shirts and it helps you get moments of clarity. There's not a problem if you like mowing the grass because you get that time to yourself maybe. But the question becomes, if you hire someone to do those things, you take your shirts out to the cleaners, you get a lawn service or whatever, then your time's freed up to put into your pursuits, which then turns around because then you could say, oh, you know what? I can get my car detailed every week so that it looks good now, all the time, And entrepreneurs buy time. That's exactly what that statement is saying, is entrepreneurs buy time. Businessmen, businesswomen buy time. And Grant Cardone tells the story of buying his plane 10X. And he's like, the money didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to buy the plane. But the people that told him not to do it were the people who didn't have one. The people that told him to buy the plane, the one guy had one, the other guy had 3 planes. And they're like, in the accounting and the math, it doesn't come out. But you buy time. You save time in the airport. The first week he had 10X. He spent one day, flew to 4 different clients in 4 different cities. And it's like, he didn't talk about his numbers, but he said that his business growth there came back big time, and the amount of revenue that his business brought in came back because he could sit down with people face to face. And that's one of the keys that we as entrepreneurs look at doing, is bring up our time so that we can hone in on our specialties and the things that we're great at.
Exactly. Now, when you go back now, do you do all of these entrepreneurial pursuits different days of the week? Like, you still do the web hosting, you still help out with, like, is it like considered like a life coach where you help people get off the ground, and also with the carrot bars? Is this all something you're still doing and juggling?
I do them every day.
Okay.
Whatever. Some of it, like the eBay store, I only need to do that when I pick up stuff, when I have to ship stuff. Otherwise, it just sits there, And I got to tell you, it's nice to be brushing your teeth at night and your phone vibrates and you're like,
sale.
Oh, cool. I just sold something. And I was brushing my teeth.
And Gary Vaynerchuk talks a lot about using eBay to your advantage. So
yeah.
Is this something that you go to garage sales, you find deals, you use the app, you do it?
Yeah, I've been doing that.
I've been looking to get into this because I just love being at flea markets in general. So I want to use that to my advantage so I can start making money.
Absolutely. This is a plug for someone else. There's a guy on Facebook, Michael Whitehead, who does an eBay mastery program, and he walks you through what he's done in the last year, and he tells his own story that he started out, he was in an $850 an hour job a year and a half ago, and right now he's in the middle of building his own house with what he's made through his eBay business. So I don't know how I ended up in this group. It's called Thunderdome. I ended up in there, and I saw some of the stuff that he was posting. I saw some of the other people in his eBay mastery program, and I'm like, let me talk to this guy. Let me see what's going on. Because obviously I'm missing out on something. And it is an easy way. It's an easy way. I mean, in the first 3 weeks, I just sold stuff that I had at the house that was just here, that was collecting dust. And so I just did a video for Michael on if you get into his eBay Mastery program, he sells boxes of stuff.
I think I just saw it. Did you just post it? Just posted
I did.
it? Yeah. Like,
I just did earlier this afternoon.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay.
So, and I got to be honest with you, he delivers a lot of value. I've learned a ton from him. And I'm able to reach back into my past and pull some of the things from that I know about collectibles and applied it to what I'm doing now too. So I do that. When it comes to websites, I only do that on a personal referral basis.
Mm.
So if you say, hey, if you have a friend and they need a website, say, hey, talk to Will. That's the only way I do that anymore, because otherwise it's so many people with so many questions that I don't have time to answer a lot of questions. I'm willing to work one-on-one with somebody. And if I can't do it, I either refer them to someone else, or we bring in, I just lost the word for it. We bring in someone to fill in the niche for whatever that is. I've used Open Desk. I've used local guys here in my community for website design and stuff. And I love websites. I love doing it. But if somebody needs something super custom, then I refer them, because I want to make sure they get what they want and not just limited to what I can do, to what my area of expertise is in that.
And it's
so
easy
to developer.
It's easy to get a website up, but to do it right with the tagging, with the how to do the blog and how to do the SEO, all that takes a lot of time. And I'm telling you right now, it takes months, if not years, to understand exactly how to do it all right and do it consistently.
It takes time. Yeah. And the other part of that is building up your content on your site. My blog has been up since 2007. It's gone through 3 different transformations in that time.
What's your website?
It's ironwill.net. IRONWIL.net.
Great. Okay.
And so, yeah. So my main hustle right now is Karatbars. That's what I do.
And gold's always a safe investment. So I'd love to hear more about this. Tell me a little bit about Karatbars.
Well, we have 3 main products. We have a 5 gram, a 2.5, and a 1 gram of gold. To give you an idea of what they look like, that's the 1. Okay.
Okay.
Comes in a credit card size. This is one of the most secure forms of gold that you can get. There's Karatbars calls it DNA, but you use a black light to verify its authenticity. It's got special markers and stuff in there, and that's the 5.
Cool. Okay. Wow. All right. That looks pretty awesome. All right.
It's a pretty thick little card, but I carry some with me to show people when I talk to them, whether it's in a restaurant or in a store, wherever people are, because it does 2 things. It builds personal wealth. You save grams on a monthly or weekly basis, and then you can get that converted into the larger units, like the 5 gram, or you can just leave it as the 1 gram and get those delivered, or keep them in secure storage. I'm super excited about Monday because we have a new product coming. Actually, two products coming.
Okay.
The first one is an app. It's a free app called Carrot Pay. And one of the things that you do with that app is when you shop through our partners, you get gold back. You get anywhere from like 3 to 10%, I think. I've got to look at all the numbers because they're still publishing. But you get the app, you shop through the app, you get gold back. You can start saving. So instead of like a credit card program where you get cash back or points or things like that, you get gold, actual physical gold.
Wow. Okay. And how much is each one of those cards worth? Before I forget that question, because that's pretty awesome.
So this is the 1 gram, and that is about $60 worth of gold right there.
Okay. And gold obviously appreciates over time easily.
Yes, it does. Right now, we see that the gold market is low. It's right now like at $11.80, so that's $1,180 per ounce. And then this card is now I'm trying to do math in front of everybody. So this is 5 grams. So it's 5 times 60. So you're looking at
300.
About 300. Yeah, you're looking at about $300 worth of gold right there.
Okay.
And it's small. It's transactable. You can swap it. So the other part of our product launch on Monday is what's called cash gold. It's not currency. It's cash gold, and it has embedded into the call it a document for the lack of a better word. There is 1, 2, 4, or 6 1/10 ounces of gold. If anyone hits my Facebook profile, I've got some pictures of them up there, and I'm super excited about it because.
And your Facebook page is William Becker, or what is it?
It's Wil Becker, WILBECKER.
Gotcha.
And all my social media accounts are listed on my website too, to make it easier for people to connect that way. But yeah, I gotta tell you, when I first got my first gram of gold and held it, it was amazing because it's not like money. It's not like, which is just paper, really. I mean, it stands for something, but that value has decreased over time. You can look at the economics. You can go look at all the experts.
$20 nowadays, nothing like it was $20 in 1950. So,
oh yeah.
But gold, 1950, obviously appreciated since then. So it's a different type of.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
I think one of the funnest experiences I've had so far is I got my 5 gram gold in this card, and I was showing somebody, and he pulled out a new credit card and showed me his new credit card. And I'm like, you just missed the point, man. I love you. You're a great friend of mine, but you just missed the point of what I'm showing you. And so that was a pretty fun moment for me to.
What you're talking about with gold, it just goes to show you, people who are wealthy use time to their advantage. As days go by, as weeks go by, you become more valuable, either in your personal development, with your business, but with gold appreciates in value. And people who are in a job that they hate, really their value goes up really slightly over 10, 15, 30, 40 years at a company, which could end tomorrow if the corporate structure says it's time to go.
Yeah, or if the company sells and,
there you
the
go.
company decides we're going to let go of 50% of the company we're buying because we don't need those people. We're going to replace them. We're changing, maybe they're changing products or whatever. But that kind of stuff happens. And one of the things my dad taught me was self-education. I learned the term autodidact from Patrick Bet-David because he uses that all the time. But that's what that means, is you self-educate, you self-teach. My dad would come home from work, and he'd take his boots off, and he'd put them beside his chair in the living room. And after dinner, he would have an auto repair manual or an encyclopedia or the dictionary.
Wow.
And he would read it. He was always learning something. Magazines on technical things, just learning. And I grew up that way. My dad was always learning something, and I just followed on with that. Books, like I said, books, videos, movies, anything that, movies are a great escape, and some of them can give you good ideas about things or spur your ideas. I mean, look at the cell phone. There's a direct link to the original Star Trek series and the communicator. I mean, that's been shown. That those first cell phones, that's what the guys were thinking of, is how can I make that a reality. So
it's incredible.
Yeah. So
real couple quick questions here. Motivation. All right. Obviously, you need it every day. What is your biggest motivation?
Wow.
So, you know, because it's basically a daily thing. Could it be your family? Could it be the money? Could it be the freedom? Could it be the creativity? Could it be branding? Could it be something leaving a legacy?
It's really a simple one for me.
Okay.
It's I know I can.
Just to
I
do
know
it.
that when I get up in the morning, I create my day. And as a teenager, I didn't understand that. Even as a young adult, I didn't understand that. Now at 42, man, that's crystal clear. I know when I get up, my day is framed by how I look at it and what I want and expect to happen. Now, expectations, of course, go out the window with the reality of life, but you can always go into the day, a new day, with great expectations and high hopes for good things to come. And so I get up. That's in my mind. I'm going to make today a great day. I close most of my videos out with make it a great day because Viktor Frankl taught that the last of the human freedoms is to choose one's attitudes. And when we do that with purpose and with intent, we make our day whatever it's going to be. Tragic things happen. They will affect us, but they don't have to ruin a day. You can have a fight with your spouse. You can, have a fight with your kids, with your girlfriend, or with your parents.
Never go to bed angry. Never go to bed angry, right?
Yes, absolutely. So,
and Viktor Frankl, real quick, that's the guy who wrote the Man's Search for Purpose or something. He was the World War II.
Man's Search for Meaning. He was a Jew interned in the Nazi concentration camp.
Yep,
I just finished that book.
I started reading that a while ago. I never was able to finish it because something come up, and I started reading something else. But it was a good book, so I know what you're talking about.
It is a good book, and he does a good job of describing the conditions he lived in and how he used the power of his mind to change his view on how he was living. I've started to believe that he is probably one of the first people in the long line of succession of business and psychology books on how what we think we create. The Secret teaches that. Now I'm not going to be able to list other things. But The Secret teaches that what you create in your mind, what you visualize, becomes your reality.
Has to start
there. That's right.
And that's why there's so many doubters around you, or friends, family. It's because they can't see what's inside your mind. So, if they can't see the end result or what you're trying to shoot for, it can't happen because obviously, I haven't seen that done yet. That's. I had a
breakthrough experience this year where 3 goals of mine that I've had for this last year, because I don't do goals on a yearly basis. I do goals as I need a new goal, as I realize something needs to change, and then I change. But 3 of my big goals just crystallized. I woke up one day and I was thinking about it, and I could see in my mind, visualize exactly how I want that to play out and how I imagine it will play out. And so I had to sit back and just kind of like, just soak in that moment. Because the one is to help my parents and to pay off their house for them. My parents took great care of me. They taught me how to take care of myself. And an Army pension is not a lot. So I realized that one of the things that I can do is help them out by taking that off of their shoulders.
That's awesome.
And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about going out there and how I'm going to do that, and bang, just crystal clear, exactly the dining room table in my parents' house, me sitting across from the table with my parents, talking to them, and just it became like it had already happened and it was a memory. I don't know if you or any of the people watching are a student of the Bible, but one of the curious things about Jewish prophecies is they're all written in past tense. No other religion I've studied so far, no other religious text all prophecies are future tense.
Mm-hmm.
In Jewish prophecies, they're all past tense.
Wow.
As if it's already happened. And so I started to think about things in that way, as I've done it, not as I'm going to do it, but that I've done it.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, and that's where my personal breakthrough on some of my goals has come, is because I started thinking, it's not I'm going to do this. This is done. I'm going to work. I'm going to put in the hours, the time, the connecting with people, and I'm going to see this goal achieved. That's it.
I always, the way you just put it, it's a little bit different spin, but it's very similar. I always talk about writing your own dream obituary. So how do you want to be remembered? Write it down, because if you're on the wrong path, you'll know from that dream obituary. So it's reverse engineering. All right, this is how it's going to all end, so let me get there.
Yeah. Stephen R. Covey teaches that. Begin with the end in mind in The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He teaches you start with your obituary. How do you want people to remember you when you
Covey
die?
talks about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. All right, I got to look into that.
It's 7 Habits is another great book. On ironwill.net, I have a page called Self-Education. It lists a bunch of books that I recommend, and I list links to YouTube and to a few podcasts for people, because there's so much good content out there. We have decades. I mean, you've got Brian Tracy, you've got Jim Rohn. Some people may think, oh, well, they're more for network marketing, but they're not. They don't teach on a product. They teach the principles of selling, of communicating, of self-education, of self-learning, of personal growth. And so there's this huge, huge library of great books, videos, not movies. I keep going to movies. Jeez. Maybe there's a movie I've been thinking of that I have to think of. Maybe there's a movie I want to see, and I just don't think of it right now. Or I keep thinking of one of the movies. Because that's one of my favorite ways to get away, is to take a break.
Got to.
2-3 hours, consolidated, bang. You go in, you enjoy the movie, then you go on and you go do other stuff.
For sure.
So
you got to take that mental break, because I always think of, like, I read a book called The Winner's Brain. That's one I recommend that you take a look at. And it says in order to solve problems or, give your mind a rest, because it's a muscle, when things break down, you have to go in a complete different direction. And then that's whenever your mind will restore itself and possibly come up with the answer that you've been seeking. So movies get your mind off of things, and reading books.
Yeah. So along with the business books I read and the self-improvement books, I also pick a novel or two every month to read, because that way I'm giving myself a break between the serious stuff, and I can process and think about the stuff that I need to change and evolve. One of the things I firmly believe in is that I'm on a call right now. Give me a few minutes, please. Go back and play in your room, okay? Thanks, Finn.
He's almost done. Don't you worry, bud.
Go on. We're almost done, okay? So, family life. So, I believe it takes at least twice as long to think about something as it takes you to read it, for you to really understand and get it. So, let's say a book takes you 2 hours to read. Well, then it's going to take you 4 hours of thinking about it to be able to put into your life what you need from that book. Sometimes, depending on where you are, you'll read something and bang, it'll be instantaneous. But I believe that it takes longer than just how long it takes to read the book. So
that makes sense. And even reading, maybe you were talking about novels and reading fiction rather than self-development or personal development.
Yeah, I take a break doing that.
Yeah, somebody really close to me has been talking to me and saying, you better start reading fiction. And I never really understood why, but it does do something possibly for you. So
it helps open up your creative side, and it gets you to think about things. I use Audible a lot, okay? That's primarily how I read books. Now, I read paper books too, but it takes me longer to get through those because I am a dad, and I have a wife and kids and a family. But I make time with Audible to and from work, doing dishes at night after the kids are in bed, in some of my daytime work, I can listen. So I use it a lot. And I don't listen to a book once. I listen to it multiple times, sometimes 6 or 7 times within a 6-month period. So
sounds like the kids are calling for you. So
yeah.
Real quick, 5 years from now,
Sure.
Wil Becker will be doing what? What has he accomplished in 5 years?
In 5 years, I will
want to
see
accomplish
a major charity go national, with $100 million or more in outlays and service. Carrot bars will explode. By then, carrot bars will be a huge part of my life. I anticipate being one of the top leaders in the company by that point. I will open a real estate business as part of my streams of income. And I've already started studying that and looking at what the options are and learning from Robert Kiyosaki on how to do that. So
beautiful. I love it, man. Hey, sounds like your family needs you, so I'm going to let you go.
All right.
But thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Mike.
I really appreciate it. And guys, if you're out there and you're an entrepreneur, you have a story to share, we want to hear it. The American Entrepreneur will always create more. Take care, guys.
And read Mike's book.
Oh,
go get Mike's book.
And go to the book. Website again?
No, go get your book, Mike.
Oh.
Your book.
My book. That's right.
Your book.
Absolutely.
Right.
Thanks, bro.
Take care, man. All the best.
See you, buddy. Take care,
bye.
guys.